No.
Yeah, and I had to fire him. I had to fire him. But like I almost had to have like a whole extra day by the end of the
Oh,
week, you know?
geez.
So it's like it was just throwing off everything.
Yeah.
Um,
It does. It how you get distracted. And if,
mm,
listen, is one thing with entrepreneurs is we want things to go right. We don't want
yes.
anything to screw up our vision. So it's almost like those fires are burning. We got to put them out. We don't want it to
Yes.
just, keep
Yes.
burning. Yeah.
I am curious though, because I mean you've done so much, in your life and in your career. So what do you feel like is one lesson that you've learned in the course of your journey that you wish you would have learned earlier?
Oh gosh. So there's so many
Mm.
lessons, but I do, and this is on business,
Yeah.
like a business end aspect of it. I wish I knew more about marketing
Mm.
in my younger days, in my younger years, like how to truly market myself. And I'm not talking about social media because that wasn't even in existence. I think we had MySpace when I hit like
Not a lot of
in
social
my
media
early
marketing on
20s.
MySpace.
The only thing cool about MySpace is you put a song with your profile picture. But I really wish that I had learned more to get a mentor that could teach me
Mm.
things like that, and learn things about growing a business because I've always had that entrepreneurial side of me ever since
Yeah.
I was little. Like I can remember doing lemonade stands and
Mhm.
or for every two lemonades you bought, you got a free bracelet. So it was like I always had that sales thing to me. But I just wish I knew when I was younger that there's people doing it better. There's people that have been doing it longer.
Mhm.
Latch onto that person and learn from them.
Yes.
Because like I said, when I met Billy and it was an industry I never even thought I'd find myself in.
Mm.
I never even had a desire. I mean, listen, everybody wants to flip a home. Everybody likes the
Yeah.
decorating aspect, but really to flip a home, it goes a lot, further than buying a house, making it look pretty and putting it back on the market. And I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it, but being able to be mentored by someone that had already known, mastered it, was doing it,
Mhm.
basically in his sleep, it goes such a long way. It goes such a long way. So I wish when I was younger, I listened to people's advice. My dad was huge on, I always looked up to him, admired him. He was a businessman before he passed. But, if I would have known that finding a mentor, just pairing up with someone doing it better than you and just sucking their brain,
Yeah.
and learning something, it takes you from 0 to 60 a lot quicker.
Yes, I absolutely love that. Well, and something like kind of in that same vein that was kind of pivotal for me in my journey is because I've always been like a very curious guy, and like if somebody's doing something better than me, and I want to do that thing, then I'm probably going to call you and bug you about it and try to figure
Yeah.
out how I can steal your ideas. But was something that was kind of revelatory for me was I mean absolutely do that, right? Like find your mentor, find that person that has more experience and has made some mistakes and that has that knowledge that they can impart to you. But the question I started asking myself was, how can I make this mine? Like whatever that strategy is, like
Yeah.
how can I put my own twist on it? Because usually, at least in my experience, and I'm curious to see if you've had something similar, where like I'd find somebody's strategy, I would try to implement it, I might do it for a while I was excited, but then maybe I would kind of start falling off. But
Yeah.
if I start applying it to myself and saying like, okay, I like that strategy, I like how they're doing it. How can I make it mine? Those are the strategies that I've brought forward, for years at a time. Have you had something similar?
Oh yeah. Oh
Mm.
yeah. You just find out what someone's doing similar, try
Yeah.
to, like you said, put your spin on it.
Hmm.
I'm big on keeping track. Like, how is this thing working for me? Is there really a return on it?
Yeah.
Is it working good and tracking it and, just keep going with what's working, eliminating what's not, not wasting my time on the things that aren't bringing me any results,
Yes.
you know? But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Find the things that actually
100%.
move you forward.
Yeah. And the
Yep.
thing too, like, with finding those people that are mentors,
Mm.
that's why I started the 6 and 7 figure female because I said, you want to sit in a room with, in my case, women, because it's all a female platform. I want to sit in a room with women that are doing amazing and that I can learn from. And then maybe I can
Hmm.
get back and teach them what I've learned, and it does go a long way when you sit at a table,
Mm.
with the people that are better than you. The
Yeah.
conversation just hits different.
Yeah.
It inspires you, it motivates you, it gets your wheels turning, your juices flowing, and it makes you want to go out and just take
Take on the
action.
world. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. Well,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I 100% agree with you. Like having, those people you can bounce ideas off of or talk through issues, I think is absolutely critical. But the thing that I feel like we can sometimes overlook, which is also a huge benefit to like the networking, group that you put together, is having that community of,
Oh
obviously people
yeah.
like we said that you can, bounce ideas off of, but the people that can also just kind of be in the mud with you sometimes where you're
Yes.
like, man, today was really crappy and here's
Yeah.
why. And I just want to, like, that's all there is, like, is that an
Yeah.
issue that I need to fix or get fixed or whatever? I just need somebody to sit in the mud with me.
And that's exactly the sisterhood is we're all about just development, self,
Mm,
professional, personal. You might be having troubles at home. You might be having trouble with your children.
mm,
You might just having an eternal struggle with yourself. And it's just a safe place that you can speak to women because we all go through the same stuff. In
mm.
my case, speak to women. But you want to find those people, like those like-minded people that they're going through those same struggles,
Yeah.
and it's just great to talk to someone and just still know like, hey, I'm not alone. And it's not always business. It's everything. It's, we talk everything, all things related to just being human.
Yes. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we are. We're human,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we're all struggling in some form or fashion.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
Kind of an offshoot to that. So I'm curious because you see, you do a lot of the networking with women specifically, right? So for somebody out there listening, a woman specifically that might be looking to break into like these male dominated industries like real estate or construction, I mean, what's some advice that you would give them heading into, especially this new year?
I just think that or not today, this month is International Women's Month.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
think that, yes, just because it's a man's world doesn't mean a woman couldn't do it. And I can guarantee, I'm so confident, I can guarantee
Mm-hmm.
that chances are we can do it a lot better at times. So we
I
doubt
found that to be the case.
ourselves. We do. We doubt ourselves because I think we have the stigma of, a woman's supposed to be home cooking and cleaning and taking
Mm,
care of the kids. But it's changed. It's changed so drastically, and it's not like that anymore. Women now are cooking, cleaning, taking care of their kids, and running a full-time job and probably bringing in a healthy salary to help pay the bills.
yeah.
So we just got to give ourselves more credit. If there's no more men's industry, women's industry. It's just an industry. And if you think you're fit for it, go for it. Put your
Yeah.
whole heart into it and just master it.
Yeah. 100%. Well, and I think I'm kind of curious like what you think of this. So like when it comes to, like maybe you're trying, like maybe, somebody listening right now, maybe they're, a stay-at-home mom and they're looking to get back into the field, like working in some form or fashion. I mean, I would have to think that the communication piece would have to be, kind of really on point with your partner, your husband, your wife, whomever it might be. Is that true, do you think?
Absolutely. I
Mm,
mean, you have to have a support. You
yeah.
can't, you have to be able to communicate and tell your partner, whoever that is, like this is what I want to do
Hmm.
and this is how I can do it
Hmm.
because otherwise you're going to get yourself all frazzled trying to figure it out when you can just easily communicate it and say this is a plan, this is my idea, how can we make this work?
Yeah. Yeah. And just say that and be honest with them.
Yeah.
I think that's really, I mean, we're saying this in the context of, going back to work, I suppose, but I think this is true of, business relationships, romantic relationships, obviously, but friendships too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
communicate honestly and just say, hey, I would like your support on this. How, like you said,
Absolutely.
how can we make this happen?
And I said it all the time, like when, any relationship, it's built on trust.